and action. Hello everyone, I'm Hannah from Hannah's Decodes. Welcome back, and today I have Elaine Smith with me, and I've mentioned Elaine several times during some of my videos, and I get a lot of inspiration from Elaine and her work. And Elaine has spent many years researching and delving into different healing modalities. So I thought it'd be lovely to get a little bit of insight of what Elaine does and how she's got to where she is at the present day. So your first career was a teacher.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, a primary English teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know I hear from lots of teachers and yourself that you actually love the physical thing of teaching children, but the whole structure of schooling and stuff is a challenge.
It's a challenge. Yes.
And you lose a little bit of that creativity that children naturally have. It kind of gets dwindled away by the system, the drudgery of the system. And so you left teaching, and then you went on to run a second-hand bookstore?
No, I had a gift store.
A gift store, okay.
For a while, yes.
Okay.
Then it morphed into a second-hand bookshop.
Right. Good.
Yes, I was in business for quite a while.
Right.
Interacting with people, which I find that seems to be what I'm drawn to.
Yes.
The interaction with other people. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And sorry, did you want to say anything? No. Oh, and you have some family members that you've mentioned sort of drew you a little bit into the spiritual exploration of things.
It started with my sister. She developed ovarian cancer, and she had 2 small children, and she was operated on, and this huge growth was taken out of her, and she was sent home.
Oops.
And more or less, I suspect, just sent home to die.
Right.
However, she started to go to a kinesiologist, Pat, who worked with her, and she's still here with us. And this was 45 years ago. So that was the first introduction into alternative things. And then she went on and trained to be a kinesiologist, and then so I became interested in this, and it started on my journey. I got involved with Reiki and became a Reiki practitioner and a Reiki master, and then I then went on to study polarity therapy, which are the energy flows of the body, which is really relevant to what I'm doing today, actually. And I also did many other courses as well, some kinesiology courses, hypnotherapy, which was also extremely relevant with what I'm doing today. It was actually called private subconscious mind healing, which was a type of hypnotherapy. Then also, I can't even remember all the courses I've done. You lose track, but I had a continual interest in exploring the alternative path, right. Not just with the health things, but also in the spiritual realms as well.
Right.
So
yes.
that was really important to me.
And more recently, you introduced me to
quantum touch.
Quantum touch.
That was something else I did. And also, that's right, so quantum touch, I didn't actually do courses, I just got it from the books and just using and practicing that from the knowledge gained from that. Also, EFT, emotional freedom techniques, which I actually taught in community colleges for a while as well, which is an extremely powerful technique to help people move emotional blockages that they're experiencing in their life. And I found it amazing during the one-day courses I would run that people would move through quite extreme issues. It was really quite empowering. So that was very interesting. That. And that was, yes, I went to establish a business and went through that mainstream, you know, insurance and this and that. And it's extremely difficult as a single person, so I needed to support myself, and it was not enough to actually do that. So then I went and actually worked in an office at a school.
Right.
So I was back in the school environment again, so that was interesting. And and I did the teaching of the EFT during that time as well.
Okay.
So then I retired from work, I suppose, and I've kept up the study and interest in all these techniques. And then I came across, well, what actually happened is that 2 years ago I fell over and smashed my wrist. And that was really, I think, a bit of a wake-up call, like do something. And I thought, oh, okay. So at that same time I came across the work of Elaine, which she's developed this system called biofield tuning, which involves using tuning forks, the sound of tuning forks, to help actually shift she works in the electromagnetic fields of the body, which actually is a physical thing. And she uses the forks to actually comb through and move stuck energy that's in your field, and you know, it allows you to overcome physical problems, emotional, all sorts of issues that you may have, which is an amazing thing. So I studied her work for a while, and through through the group that we both attend, the meditation group that we attend, I started to actually bring the forks into the meditation group, didn't I?
Yes,
that was interesting. So, and I started to actually combine it with the hypnotherapy type work that I'd done years before. And also the biofield tuning, the way she described the energy fields of the body, was very similar to the polarity therapy mapping of the energy fields.
Right.
Which was one reason I was attracted to the biofield tuning, because the similarities that were there with the biofield tuning and polarity therapy. So I then did work with Elaine Cusick's work, biofield tuning, and I also did an online course with John Bowler with biosonics, and he actually was more focused on polarity therapy as well, and he brought in brought back the concepts of the 5 elements, the Ayurvedic elements of ether, fire, air, water and earth. And I found that over the time as working with the group, I have changed and flowed, and it's really become quite different, hasn't it?
And your own practice.
Yes,
it's sort of, you've learned so many things, and
combining many different aspects together. And I find it's extremely empowering. I'm working with the concept that we are all connected to Source. In every person, however dark they may seem, there's a connection to Source. So that's what I'm working with, encouraging the person in their own self-healing also. Working with the concept of the greater self,
Yes.
That's outside of time, outside of matter, that we exist and always have and always will exist. We are eternal beings, and this physical body is just a small part of that greater self.
Yes, yeah.
And that we manifest into the physical realms through the 5-element process, the very finest of which is the ether element, and that the 0 point field it's sometimes described as, and that's the very finest form of matter.
Yeah.
And this is where, you may have had other lives, maybe, that you've experienced, and all this information is still contained in this field. There are all your ancestral patterns and so forth are there in the field as well. And during the work I do, I access and work with both other lives, maybe past, parallel, future, other dimensions, wherever. And I also work with any ancestral issues that may be there. And then the etheric starts to become denser and starts to flow, creating the electromagnetic field. The energy flows, the fire element, which is the realm of action, doing, and so forth. Just fire of digestion, all these things that are essential. So, and then this condenses further. It's very similar to the water, we have steam and water and ice. It's very similar. It goes into the air element, then condenses into the air, the oxygen that we breathe. This is the mental realm, or the thoughts and ideas, and this is the realm where we can have limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, and all this sort of stuff that we hold and influence how we perceive life and how we live life.
Yeah.
And then this further condenses into the watery realm, which is the emotional realm, the water element. And apparently Candace Pert, I think, in her work showed that it takes 90 seconds for an emotion to flow fully through your system. And sometimes if you become overwhelmed, you stop it and block it, and it becomes a blockage in your system. Then that further condenses down into the earth, the actual physical part of you. So if there's been any blockages in the fire element, the flow of your energy, in the air element with your beliefs and limiting thoughts, distorted perceptions, in the water element where traumas and emotional things have become stuck, all this becomes distorted and manifests into physical problems in your body. Now what the tuning forks do is actually the sound of the vibration. I lead and guide people into a state where they're able to just allow the sound to vibrate into the system, asking their higher self to actually identify, to locate any relevant blockages, distortions, traumas, relevant maybe to a physical problem maybe. And actually what the sound seems to actually entrain with the darkness, the density, and actually vibrate, and it actually helps to clear it away. And I do it in such a way that it's always up to you. I use my speech so that it's not directive. It's always, if you choose to do this, just allow your higher self to do this or not. depending. It's so not to set up a resistance in the people who are there in the meditation, whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So that just gives a brief overview of what I'm doing. So, is there any questions?
I don't think so. I think you touched on how you didn't mention how you looked into German New Medicine, and that's
That's right.
yeah.
I forgot about German
I
New
know. There's
Medicine.
so many things,
Yes.
and that's something that really brought your attention to the emotional state affecting your physical body.
Very much.
And you seem to incorporate that quite
do.
cleverly with
I
your
do.
tuning forks. And
I do. I forgot about German.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
that's central to it as well.
Yes, yeah. So I thought that was a nice thing that you've brought to, or an important thing you've brought to my awareness is just, anyway, you might want to talk a little bit about the guy, and how he was an actual doctor.
Dr. Hamer, yes, he was actually he ran a cancer clinic, and he's I think they were living in Italy at the time, and he was German, but they were in Italy, and his son somehow was shot. His 17-year-old son was shot, and he didn't die straight away. It took several months before he finally passed away. And not long after that, Dr. Hamer found that he had testicular cancer. And he thought, well, there must be a relationship between the trauma and worry of what had happened to his son and his health problems. And I think his wife also developed was it breast cancer or something? I'm not sure. So because he worked in the cancer clinic, he then started to work with the patients there, and he found that with each person they had, before their cancer had appeared, they had experienced some emotional trauma, some life-changing thing that had manifested as cancer. And so he studied and worked and developed a whole system linked to embryology, all the going back, when we were just one celled, just a worm, and all. It's really quite complex, and I'm still trying to get my head around it actually, because of the detail, and you really need, I think, to have a medical training to really understand it properly. But the general idea of the emotional traumas creating the physical problems, cancer, and also other physical ailments you may have, can be related back to what your problem may be.
Yes, yeah.
That's just very, very broadly, because I'm no expert in it at all.
Yeah. But, and it was kind of fascinating. His studies all came back to, people who had breast cancer, had, there was something that related, that a stream of similarities that related to the trauma that related to the breast cancer and stuff. So it was just
very
fascinating.
Very interesting.
And unfortunately, that's really valuable information is just...
he was demonised.
Yes,
he had to leave the country, and he was persecuted for his work.
Yes, yeah. So we thought we wouldn't do a tuning fork meditation, because I tried to do one a while ago, and I was told you could hear the tuning fork for a couple of seconds and then it just disappears. So in real life you can hear it and feel the vibration for a long time after you hit the tuning fork, but it doesn't really cross over on to the videos for some reason. So I mean, perhaps one time we can have an experiment.
Actually, it does work at a distance, so
yes,
you don't have to be physically present.
Well, maybe we can do next time a meditation, and you can do, if you felt like it, and you could talk us through it, and maybe
and just do it.
Just do a meditation. Maybe one time when you and I are there, or on a Thursday, or when do we do it now? Thursday. Yes, Thursday. That's right. We're away, so Time has kind of left us with.
Yes.
So I've written some notes. I think we've covered lots and lots of stuff. Healing that touch. Yep. So I think that's lovely, really fascinating and interesting, and I'm pleased to introduce Elaine, because I've talked about you in code for so many videos, and at meditation, the person who runs that, and I've never said your name until quite recently, so it's nice to have you on, and there's a name and a face to all this knowledge. So that's fantastic.
Yes, no, it's a fascinating area to be working in.
Yeah.
And and I think we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, I think that, are you happy? Anything else you'd like to say? No?
Not at this stage,
Okay.
I don't think.
No, I think you've done a nice
overview
of it, so that's really good.
Yes.
And we're here down on the south coast in New South Wales, Australia, and we've got a beautiful outlook. I'm going to turn this around. I never know if you guys can see it, but I'll turn this around and hopefully you can see our lovely view and hear the bellbirds in the background. They're very pretty sound. So anyway, that's Elaine Smith talking us through her practice with the tuning forks. And I'll see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Bye now. Bye.